Hey all, Mazer here. I'm going to do a walkthrough of Space Bandit Hunting. This is something that you can do fairly quickly out of the gate as a new player, as long as you have a squad of ships and you can find an asteroid field, which are pretty easy to do. You can come in here and begin to get a feel for what space combat is like. The types of ships that you'd be fighting are pretty limited, but it's still a very good opportunity to learn the ins and outs of space combat. There's also an opportunity here to set up a asteroid field for mining or for gathering wrecks to recycle. You might even find a planetoid that you can create a base with, and could also get some ships. You could acquire ships through this method. Before we start, let's look over a couple things that you should keep in mind. Okay, two things to remember. First, you move as fast through space as the slowest ship in your squad. That's in hyper or in sublight. A second thing to remember is that you see as well as the best ship in your squadron. So right now, my personal ship is a fighter, which usually has sensors 1, but I'm partied up with a gunboat that has sensors 3. So I have sensors 3 for all of the ships in this squad. Sensors 1 is not very good. If you're just scoping around in a fighter looking for bandits and you have sensors 1, that view is going to be extremely limited and you are going to spend a lot of time looking for fighters. So as an example here, I have my gunboat with me. I'm going to kick that gunboat out and we will be looking at this from just a fighter's perspective. This is sensors 1. So when you consider how you see the enemy, that enemy will only be revealed to you if they are in one of these highlighted regions. They will not be seen by you in a diagonal position. So if you can get beyond that sensors 1, all the better. You could also drop satellites into the asteroid field to see better. Another way of achieving a better view would be to have another player character working with you in that same asteroid field. You two could share sensors and keep track of bandits a lot easier. I'm going to jump into the asteroid field with my support ship. You're going to see what my sensor looks like with that asteroid field influence, and then I'll speak about bandit sensors and what you should keep in mind about them. Okay, this is the asteroid field that I'm using for bandit hunting. What I want you to see is two different views. This is the view with your sensors right now, and notice it is really clipped by the asteroids that are in this field. This is a Sensors 8 flagship that I use for this purpose. It's kind of my support ship. And when I come into these asteroid fields, I'll usually set up this ship and maybe get my first looks of what is going on in the field. The other view of the field is right here. This lets you know where the asteroids are. You need to pay close attention to where the asteroids actually are and where they are not, because where I'm parked right now, my ship is safe. This ship is more than 100 meters long, which means if I park it at any of these purpley pink squares, it will take asteroid damage. It'll take shield damage first and then could potentially be reduced down to a wreck because it got so damaged by asteroids. Now, usually what happens is the asteroid damage that you get to your shields, that replenishes at a rate faster than you take damage. So you'll get an indicator that you're taking damage, but chances are the ship that you're using will be able to keep up with that damage and you won't actually lose a ship, depending on the ship, of course. This lets me know where the safe squares are and also lets me know where the best views will be. If I park here, I will get a farther view down this corridor of open space. If I go back into my sensor view, let's go to ship controls, we see how my view is hampered by the asteroids. And if we go into this view, we can see where the empty pockets are, where I can get a better look. So I'm going to take this ship, my support ship, and I'm going to park it here, just so I can get a really good look down this corridor and see if there's any enemies to be gotten. Maybe here in this space. I might then move it here. I might move it here. That'll let me see into here. I won't know how good the view is until I park the ship. Okay, I aborted sublight just to show you this view of what my sensors are looking like as a result of moving through this asteroid field. And we found some bandits. I was traveling to this spot. I would have seen these guys anyway. But more importantly, I want you to get a sense of what sensors look like as a result of asteroid interference. This is a mixed group, so I'm just going to click on them and see what they're doing. I'm going to scan them. This crew has the behavior of wandering, which basically they're just moving around. I've got fighters here. I can tell that this is a mixed group already, but I'm going to scroll down this list. And yep, here it is. This is a gunboat that's mixed with these fighters. I'm also looking at their stats being their hull and their shield. Now, you come into an asteroid field, you'd expect the bandits to probably have fresh health or no damage, no shield damage. I'm looking at that because I want to make sure that nobody else is in this field hunting this group. It is a player character choice to, let's say, interfere with another player character's hunt with bandits, with critters, and also with space bandits. If you do come into an asteroid field and you notice that the ships have damage on them, and you, of course, did not do that damage, chances are that there is another player character in that field hunting those bandits. I will continue moving in this asteroid field to where I was going. Again, that will let me see a lot of this area. Maybe this group will still be there, maybe they won't. We'll come back to that and see how we luck out. Okay, I finished my sublight, and you can see I've got a group of bandits here. It is not the same group as before. I'm looking down this corridor, and these are all the same type of ships. So when I scan them, we'll see that they're all fighters. They're just holding, they're just sitting still. These are all Y ties. And you might think you have an advantage here to control the pace of the fight because they're in fighters and probably can't see you, as most fighters have sensors 1. So to give you a perspective of what sensor 1 looks like for us, this is sensor 1 for us. This is the same moment in time. These fighters, can't see the enemy beyond sensor 1. This is a view from my Corvette that I like to use. This is a Sensors 6 ship. The view's a little bit different. This is the original group of bandits that I saw. This is the new group of bandits that I saw. And this is my support ship. I don't see that other group. I know they're there. But you might say, well, don't you have an advantage? Fighters that are operated by bandits do not have the same sensors as our ships. They have a home field advantage, let's say. So I'm going to bring up a composite that I've done for this kind of view. If you want a little hint about what they could see, scan any one of these fighters, and you'll notice that they have sensors 1, but their sensor range is much better than 1. I'm going to bring up an image or two so you know what that looks like from their cockpit. Here's my view of the asteroid field. I'm in a U-wing, and U-wings have sensors 3. They're somewhat inhibited here because of the asteroids, but I can see my enemy. Here's the bandits' perspective of the field. They do have sensors 1, but their range is much better. And they are not inhibited by the asteroids that are around them. They see their full range. Not only that, but bandits share sensors. So they can see me, they can relate that back to their cohorts, and now their cohorts could move to attack me. I have been in positions where I've been in a fight and I've gotten attacked by 2 other groups while I'm attacking one group of bandits initially. Something to remember about these bandits is that they do work together and they do see things better than you do. So keep that in mind while you're moving around these fields. They can see you and they will sometimes interact with you in ways that you might not be prepared for. Let's come back into the asteroid field and see how I can move into these bandits and perhaps take some of them out. Okay, I am going to move my support ship to here, and then I will disembark in my squadron of fighters, and I will park my fighters here to engage these bandits here. I haven't seen anything else since I saw that original group of bandits. They're not in the view right now. I'm hoping that they're not near when I do attack these bandits, because if I start attacking this group of bandits, chances are any nearby bandits will jump in to that fight. I'm hoping that doesn't happen for this case because I like to kind of go through one thing at a time, but we'll cover that as we see it. I'm going to get in position, and then we'll see maybe a couple rounds of combat. I'm going to leave this ship now, I'm going to undock, and I'm going to make my way towards the bandits. Notice, sensors 1, not very good. I know that my bandits are here, so I'm going to click into this field, travel there, and once those bandits are in range, I'm going to make my first attack. Be back in a bit. I'm now in range to attack these bandits. I'm going to scan them, and then pick one of them to attack, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here's our result. Not bad. I took out a couple of them. I'm going to keep at this group until there are no more left. I'm going to also chase down that other group that I saw earlier, And if there are any more in this field, I'm going to take them out as well. So I came back on to come to my end of delay and make my next attack, but then I noticed I had a battle report, and that's because these bandits attacked me. Now notice, some of these bandits have been destroyed by that attack, and some have been disabled. My ionics have taken these ships down and disabled them, and I could board them right now and potentially claim them at the end of my delay. Even though these ships are disabled, my ships will continue to attack them. They won't stop and parse out which ones I want versus which ones I don't. They're going to attack them all. And as long as there are bandit fighters, they will probably attack back. They're in delay. They can't move. In 3 minutes, I'm going to be able to attack them, and then we'll see where we are. This is the result of my last round of combat. I did manage to destroy all of those bandits, so they're all wrecks. I could gather them up in my support ship, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to load up with my squadron into my support ship, and I'm going to begin to hunt down that other group of bandits that's in here someplace. There was a Pez in that group, there's a couple headhunters in that group. So in the meantime, I'm going to move around, I'm going to do some hunting. Maybe I'll find a third group in here. If not, we have some ways of attracting other bandits to this field after we get done taking care of the bandits that are already in it. That may take some time. And while I am moving through that field, I'm going to go over a couple of the rules that govern space combat and Space Bandits and point out a couple of the skills that you can use to better your chances of fighting these bandits and also claiming their ships. Here we are on the Space Combat Rules page. This is the list of ships that are eligible for space combat. These are ships that you can target as bandits, or you can target as player versus player combat situations. Some of these have a better use in combat than others, so be mindful of that. All right, I'm going to just scroll down here. The generalization I want to make about these rules is there is a right tool for the right job. If you spend time looking at these tables and these equations and see the examples that they describe, you're going to essentially learn that they've spent time, admin has spent time considering ship sizes, weapon types, weapons against certain ship types. As an example, if you bring a fighter against a Corvette, a Bandit Corvette, you might have an easier time hitting that Corvette, but your damage may be a little bit smaller because of how big the Corvette is. On the other side of that combat, that Corvette may have a harder time hitting you because you're a fighter and smaller, but when its weapons do hit you, it's going to hurt. It's going to take a chunk out of you. So with this simple generalization, I want to point out that a lot has been done to make sure that space combat is balanced, and that certainly applies to bandits. And here we see the rules for the bandits themselves. Here are the rules for allowing bandits to spawn. Here are their behaviors and what those behaviors will do over time or through time. And then, of course, we have the Corvettes, the freighters, the gunboats, and the fighters that bandits use. Any of these ships can be claimed by you if you disable them. You get aboard that ship and then hack that ship in the cockpit. Corvettes will take a little more effort. They will have armed guards, essentially. But if you beat those guards and you successfully hack that ship, any one of these Corvettes or any of these other ships can become yours. We'll see a little bit of that in our battles to come. For now, let's take a look at combat reports and see if there's anything we can learn from them. When you do fight bandits, there's something you should keep in mind about the health of your ship that you're using in squad and the health of the leader in their squad. If you take a note at the combats here, you'll see that the leader is untouched, as well as my ship is untouched. All the other ships in the squad took some damage. That was the first round of combat with those initial bandits. They went on to attack me again, and I was able to essentially wipe them out within 3 rounds. But again, my ships took damage, but my lead ship, the one that I'm in, did not. As far as that second group with the Pez, again, you can see how they took damage, and mine did as well, but my lead gunboat, the one that I'm using, did not take damage. And this is a tactic that you can use to your benefit. When you assign a ship for your own personal use, it is going to take damage last. And that is a tactic that people call using a shield ship. So you can use a larger, more robust ship to take all that damage while your maybe weaker ship is kind of sitting on the sidelines with you in it, also attacking but not being directly attacked. During this combat, I was able to neutralize a couple ships. This ship is disabled. I don't like to hack ships until all ships are destroyed, and I know which ones I'm trying to get are still available. I am not specifically hunting to capture ships right now. I'm going to go through that next. But in this case, jumping on a ship that is disabled while in the heat of combat or in fire delay, not really a good idea. You could end up stuck, or you could end up being kicked out, losing the lock breaker in the process, and also not acquiring any ships. Save your hacking for specific times that you know that you'll be hacking. If it happened to be at the end of this combat and there was a disabled ship and there is no more chance for them to fire on me, absolutely, I probably would have jumped on and tried to grab one of these ships. Here we see the Pez is destroyed, and then finally, this ship is starting to take some damage because there's no other targets. And then eventually, they're all destroyed. I'm going to lay out satellites because I know that this system is clear, and I will essentially go through the spawn. I want to essentially force a spawning of bandits, and there's a way to do that. You could wait. There's a 7-day wait for new bandits to spawn in this field. After no more bandits are here, if you leave the system and then come back in after 7 days, a new group of bandits or so will spawn in this asteroid field. So there's certain things that you have to keep in mind about chasing bandits in a specific asteroid field. There is a time delay on their spawning, and if you're still in that system waiting for them to spawn, they won't. You have to leave the system and then come back in. So I'm going to begin part 2 after I lay out my satellites. You'll see the whole screen lit, and then we'll go on from there. Okay, I've set up this field. You can see the entire field because I have all of these satellites here. I've parked myself off of a asteroid square, so I'm here at 910. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lure to bring bandits in. A subspace radio use will bring bandits into a field that you're sitting in and act as basically an attractor. Now, it's been over a week if you've been keeping track of my days. I could probably just leave this field and pop back in and bandits will spawn. However, I'll be able to see where they are, but I'll be at an entrance point, and that may make me very far away from the bandits I want to hunt. I did forget to mention that when I bring the bandits in, they will be able to see my satellites and they will attack them. So I want to be in the middle of the field so I can get to those bandits as quick as possible before they start taking out my satellites. As long as I'm sitting in this field, the bandits will not spawn naturally. If you build any kind of space station in an asteroid field, the bandits will stop spawning as well. You can build asteroid hideouts, but any other kind of station will keep bandits from spawning in the field. So right now, as I'm sitting, they're not going to come. If I bring my equipment into it, so I'm going to come into here, come into subspace radio. You want to interact. There's some flavor text here, and then activate the radio. Now you'll lose the subspace radio when you do this, but hopefully we'll see some bandits. And we do. 4 groups. So I'm going to get busy here and find out if we have anything worthwhile. Actually, I can do that right now. This one's sitting on a satellite. Scan that. It's 13 ships. So that, of course, is my satellite and these bandits. This is a group of fighters. This is a group of fighters. This is a mixed party. And probably a Pez. Yep, it's a Pez. So I'm going to hunt these down. I'll keep record of the tally, and we'll see how the hunting goes. In the interest of time, I'm not going to show you every engagement I have with bandits. This is that first group that I lured in. When I initially scanned these bandits, they all had the intelligent behavior, which is kind of like they're waiting and watching and they'll react. And as a result of attacking this group of bandits here, these 2 other groups began to attack me. And this group, scan them, you'll notice they're on the move and their behavior has changed to engaging the enemy, which is me. So as you can see, they share sensors and they will come in to attack you. Now I'm in 2 Corvettes. I'm not really worried about this outcome, but I just want to demonstrate that though they are mostly bandit fighters, they share sensors. They can see farther than you can see if you're in a regular ship. So understand that the battle can progress pretty quickly. I've already had like 3 or 4 rounds of combat in this first engagement, and you should be prepared for that. Since my goal is to capture a vet, I need to be careful about which weapons I use in any particular fight with a vet. For the next few rounds, I'm probably going to be spawning in bandits that don't include a vet, so my missile Corvettes will come in and basically clear the field, and then I'll respawn bandits. Should I find a ship that I want to claim, I need to be sure to go into my weapons overview and select weapons appropriate for disabling a ship. If you click into your weapons overview, you'll see that you have all of the weapons per ship available here. All of my weapons are essentially active. If you want to deactivate a weapon, you have to make sure it is unclicked, and then also you have to save. If you don't save, it will not disable the weapons. Probably come into a fight with some of these weapons activated, like energy or explosive, depending on the ship type. But really, to disable a ship, it's only ionic. So these U-wings and Y-wings will do that task. It may take some time, but I have the weapons available to disable a ship and then eventually capture it. In my last round of combat, I disabled this light freighter that I'm looking to hold on to. So you can see that it's disabled here. I did not use this ship to disable it. My ionic crew is now essentially docked on here, and I'm going to tractor this ship aboard after I get done hacking it. In order to hack it, you have to board that ship and eventually get to its cockpit. If it is less than a Corvette, you get to the cockpit and you begin hacking. If it's a Corvette, you're going to have to go through some doors, you're going to have to fight some enemies in the cockpit, some guards, and then you're going to have to hack it. This particular ship has a 24-hour disable. After 24 hours, it'll recharge and then become an active enemy again. I have plenty of time to hack this ship a few times in the event that it does fail the first time. And that time is going to take about an hour and a half. That's going to be my delay on hacking this ship. You can see that it's here. I'm adjacent to it. I'm going to just jump onto it. So go into room travel, board that ship that is available, and just make your way to the cockpit. Now, again, if this was a vet, I'd have to worry about a door here and probably a door here. But because it's less than a vet, I just walk over to the cockpit and get into my equipment. So I'm going to get into my equipment here. I've got plenty of lock breakers. This is going to get used up, upon trying to attempt the hack. So I'm going to interact. It lets you know basically what you're doing. You're going to pry open the port here, start hacking. You're going to get a indicator of time for the delay. In this case, it's an hour and a half. And then you begin the hack. So I'm going to continue to try to hack this numerous times. And if I fail, that's not a big deal. I'll try it again. Got lucky on this one. It only took one hack attempt. I am still in the cockpit. You can see your success here. Successful hack, how much XP you get for the capture, and you can access the ship controls. Now, you can't do anything else with this ship because it has 0 ionic, and it is currently charging. It's going to take 15 hours according to this timer. You cannot squad up with this ship. You can pull it onto a ship that you own. But for now, it's just going to sit. So I'm going to tractor this onto my support ship and continue this sweep. I got lucky on this spawn. I've got a couple mixed groups, and I do have a Corvette down here. I'm parked here right now with a couple Corvettes myself. I have to start thinking about how I want to take this vet down. While I'm fighting it, I'm hoping that this vet moves because right now it's in asteroids. These asteroids are going to damage this vet when I take down the shields. And then if it gets disabled here, it will essentially have its hull chewed down by asteroids. And I have to be mindful of that because if it goes too low and gets destroyed, well, then that's going to be a huge waste of effort. If this vet moves, I will try to disable it in one of these clear areas. If I don't get lucky and it just kind of stays still, then so be it. There are things that you can do to increase the hull of a ship while you're in it. I'm going to set myself up to disable this vet. I may take out these other groups first. Once I disable this vet and I get on, we'll go through the doors and then to the guards themselves. See you in a bit. All right, I managed to disable this Corvette. It's sitting in open space right now. You can see the firefight happening. It actually attacked me, and I was able to respond with enough ionic to disable it. I got lucky because I had been chasing this Corvette essentially all over the asteroid field, trying to make sure that it gets stuck in open space. So if you come back into here and look at the asteroid field, you can see the purpley area, obviously, and this vet is sitting essentially right here where we have some open space where it won't take any asteroid damage. I will approach this vet. I'm going to get onto it. I'm going to begin to break locks and get into a fight with the guards. We'll see, some hacking and eventually hopefully the capture of this ship. When you disable a ship ionically, it becomes a race against the clock, and there are certain things to keep in mind about how much time you have. The vet itself will be disabled for 48 hours, and there's an additional amount of time added per door and per door level from 4 to 12 hours for each door that is on that vet. So you get time to board the ship, go through doors, and then you also have to fight a squad of guards that protect the cockpit. And after that fight, it will take 3 hours to hack the ship. All of those things add up. And if you run out of time, if this vet needs more time than you have to give, it will essentially come out of Ionic, disable, and start back up. And you can get stuck. So really think about that before you take on the vet. Okay, I'm parked next to the vet. I'm going to board that vet and start going through doors. I have my party with me. I'll talk more about them in a bit. So room travel here, get my entrance, get to the ship, and we'll see what kind of obstacles we have. So here's the entrance of the ship. You've got 48 hours, like I said before, and you get time per door level. So as I try to move to the left here, I find that I got a standard door and a reinforced door. So if I had come in through the hangar bay, I would have to go through this reinforced door and then also the standard door. Now together, these two doors give me an extra 12 hours of time to get through this vet and claim it. So I'm glad that these doors are here because this one gives me a chunk of time and I don't even have to go through it. This is the door I have to go through. So as of right now, I've got an extra 12 hours. I usually run a timer on my watch, and that will help me understand how much time I've got left. So I started this timer at 48 hours. I'm going to add an extra 12, and then when I see the next door, I'll add even more time. So you get extra time for these doors. So I'm just going to slice this door. You can see I have lock breakers ready to go. So I'm going to slice this door. It's going to take a couple hours. So I'll come back, and hopefully we'll see me get through this door and get to the next door. Okay, just about ready to go to the next door. Here we are outside the cockpit. And this is a reinforced door. So a little more time added, a little more difficult, but shouldn't be too bad. See you in a bit. Okay, I got through this door. I am now down to about 46 hours left on my timer here. We have one more fight to go, and that's with the bandits inside this cockpit. They are going to be daunting level fighters, very similar to bounty hunting with daunting level contracts. There will also be a ship captain here, but really not a concern. This will be a zero range fight, and I recommend to be equipped for melee. So if you have dual vibro knives, you can come in here and be very effective against these bandits. They will put up a fight. They are really quite capable of knocking you down if you are not careful. So while you're in that fight, understand that they will instigate with you while you are in fire delay, and that can make the fight go a little quicker than you are ready for. Let's take a look at my fit out real quick. Here we see my troops. I've got my dual vibro knives. I've also got this axe. It's really for RP. It's just there. I'm not going to use that. And these are kind of my best. I've got my armor. I'm using riot shields. When they get in there, it's going to be essentially an even fight. So let's take a walk in there. And here's that group. The top one's the captain, not a problem, and the rest of these are going to be those daunting level bandits. With these hit points, I might do a couple rounds of focus fire to see if I can drop one or two of them, and then go to spread fire. We'll see how it goes. Here we have the HBAs, we got dual railbees, a couple here with dual knives. I'm going to go through these guys. I'll let you know how many rounds it takes at the end, and then we'll be ready to hack this ship. Be back in a bit. Okay, here's the end of that fight. This was 7 rounds of combat, 4 of which that I started, and 3 that they started. So again, it can go pretty quickly if you're not ready. I did not have to swap out any of my troops. These are all from the beginning of the fight here. You can see here I've taken some damage as well. You are a eligible target when you go into these fights. This leader was not touched essentially until the last round, and they're so low hit points, and I was just able to take them out. So now I'm ready to get into hacking this cockpit. I'm already there. I got a drop. I might as well put that in my belt in a moment. But before I do that, let's get into starting this hack. I'm going to come into here, interact. Again, we're going to get all of this text about the hacking process and the time it will take. This is going to be about 3 hours. And I'll keep at that until I have the ship. I'll see you after that. All right, capturing this ship took a little bit longer than I anticipated. This ship actually sat long enough to reactivate itself. Its ionics began to recharge. So I fortunately got off of the ship. I wasn't trapped, and I had to reattack it with my ionic squad and then re-disable it. So if that happens and you have to essentially fight the ship again and re-disable it, know that any door that you unlocked stays unlocked, and the guards that you fight, if you beat them, they will not repopulate. Okay, they won't respawn in the cockpit. So this ship is going to sit here for another 2 days plus 6 hours before it will be able to move on its own. If you're in a position where your ship is taking damage from the asteroid field, you can kickstart this ship with some portable power generators. You will need to do that with a worker, or you can do that with yourself. Of course, you're going to need that device. Every ship has a certain allotment of power generators it needs, and you can drastically reduce that time that it takes to recharge the ship. So right now I've got 2 days and 6 hours to go. I can essentially cut down that time by using a worker and a power generator. So let's go do that. I'm going to room travel. I've got my party with me. I'm with one of my Jawas. He's going to be taking care of this work. I'm going to come over here to where the generators are. This is essentially a crate of generators. So you come into actions, field repairs, and right now it's max repaired. I'm going to show some stuff about repairing hull, but right now I want to get ionic done. So I want to recover. This guy is going to be taking care of the work. He will need a toolkit, and of course the generators are available. So we're going to select, and now we're going to have a little essentially a countdown timer here, and then when that timer is up, we'll be able to move this ship. All right, here we are 2 hours later, and I've completely eliminated that 2-day, 6-hour wait for this thing to charge up naturally with its ionic. That field repair using the power generator got me back into business with this ship. I could fly it anywhere I want. I could take it into hyper. Remember, this is a really good, useful tactic if you are in a disabled vet that you just captured, no shields, you're sitting in one of these purple areas, and you're taking an hourly damage from asteroids. There is another field repair I want to show you, and that is repairing the hull. Let's check that out now. Let's go through field repair of hull. I'm going to do that with some of these ships I captured from the tutorial. So let's board. I'm going to do Bayo Killers. This is a storied group. This is a gift for a buddy of mine. So let's get into here. And per ship, you can assign a couple workers in an individual room to do some repairs. So I have a party with me, and my party right now has the toolkit and the ship parts to do this. So again, field repairs. I'm going to repair this, and I'm going to let this guy work in this room to do that. That's it. Now, there is a cap to how much you can repair a ship. That's going to be between 70 and 90%, depending on your repair skill. And if you are in a disabled vet in an asteroid field, you may want to consider, like, do you want to go with the ionic route and essentially kickstart the ship and move it? Or do you want to do field repairs on the hull and essentially repair hull after asteroid damage occurs? Weigh those out as you see fit. There is one more repair type, and that is with materials. We're going to go to my carrier to see that. Okay, I'm going to do some full repairs of some of the ships I used in the tutorial. You can see that my bombers here taking a bit of a beating. My gunboats, not too bad at all. But in order to do these repairs, you will need every material type for that type of entity. So for example, these bombers need a certain list of materials to be made, so therefore I should have all of those materials handy. That would be loose materials that are necessary to build that craft in the first place. So I've managed to get those materials through recycling the wrecks, and you will need some workers. In order to instigate a repair, you're going to come down here and you're going to use this function here under Actions, Repair. You can select all materials. I've got many piles of these materials here. I'm going to select a worker and I will begin a repair on this. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. Select all. I'm going to select a worker that can do this work. Let's see if I can find one of my gunboats. Here we go. That will keep you in the fight, certainly. And since we're kind of like at the end here, I want to go through the tallies. What did I get? What did it cost me, basically? And that's something that you can keep in mind for your own hunting. All right, let's go over the results. I've been doing this bandit tutorial for about 100 days, and that's certainly a lot more time than it would take to essentially accumulate the ships that I did while doing that tutorial. But I was trying to keep in mind that I wanted to have things to film and my schedule of filming, and of course I wanted my display to be nice and clean, so I was cleaning out wrecks. So I lured bandits 19 times and dispatched 50 different squadrons of bandits. In those bandit fights, I accumulated ships here. So not bad. Good haul. I got 2 vets out of this. I got a couple of these new freighters and this new fighter. I still have to fix them yet, but still, they're mine now. In that time, I also gained about 20,000 experience. That's in the fights and in recycling. So that's a big boon. You probably saw a level jump there, which is pretty cool. I think realistically, I probably could clear that field probably like twice a day, just going over and over again really quickly. When I was capturing a vet, maybe I dedicated a day to really making sure that I got that right. It would probably go a lot quicker than 100 days to accumulate these ships. I lost, unfortunately, 30 satellites. I did want to keep the field nice and lit so I could find things very quickly and get through squads as fast as possible. And I lost also 4 Y-wings, just the nature of the beast. So I hesitate putting any numbers up here as far as value. Satellites, of course, are going to cost something. Y-wings are going to cost something. Surely these ships I have here now, they could be traded in for cash. But I'm netting about 45 million, I think. Again, market value today as of record. That does not include startup. So all of the ships that I used, all the troops, all the gear, I'm not factoring in. And I'm factoring in only what I lost and what I gained. Not bad. This is going to do it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to DM me. I really appreciate you watching this. Feel free to send this to any new players that you might know, and I hope it treats you well. Thanks again, and see you next time.